Hey everyone, welcome to, I don't know what the hell we're going to call this show, the Giants Stink podcast. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of losing every week or 3 out of 4 weeks and losing games that we should be winning. There's a number of directions we can go on this one, Chris. I know you were there. I had to also suffer the indignity of DirecTV screwing me by blacking out the game in the first quarter because it was on nationally. And because it was on nationally, the national game flipped over to Houston and Indianapolis. And then channel 716 for DirecTV was just nothing. And it said the Giants and who the hell did we play? The Saints were blocked yesterday, are blocked on this channel because the game is on locally. And then you go locally, and it was Houston and Indianapolis. So for the first quarter, I had to watch the game on Game Mix. While you were at the game. And of course, naturally, Chris, I missed the only good part of the game. I know we open up this podcast with the same music every week, and I'm starting to think we should use taps instead. We should open up with taps and maybe close with taps. So number of directions we can go, bud. I'm going to start with the play calling. I thought it was terrible. I don't understand how you have the number 2 overall pick in the draft, and he gets the ball 8 times, gets 8 handoffs until there were 6 minutes to go in the game, and then they started giving it to him. Were the Saints doing anything, live? Again, you're in the press box.
Right.
Were the Saints doing anything to stop the run, or was it just Shermer outthinking himself?
No, it was just Sherman getting away from it. I mean, the Saints showed nothing different defensively. And Sherman admitted today that I wish I would have got the ball to Saquon more often. I mean, this is the second time now in 4 games that Coach Sherman has come out and said, "Yeah, I think maybe I should have got the ball to Barkley, some more." So the thing is that we have to stop saying that and start doing it. The old, "Yeah, I should have got the ball more here," or "We should have took some more shots here," or "We should have did this here." It's kind of growing a little old now. Number 2 overall pick in the draft, electrifying talent, and he has 10 rushes. And like you said, Jerry, 8 into the last 6 minutes?
Yeah, and I'm just saying that because I remember specifically he had 8 carries with 6 minutes to go. He ended up getting 2 more, but then he got a lot of garbage dump offs. And I don't understand why the hell does it seem that he gets the ball 40 times a game or 10?
I don't know, but like yesterday was not a blowout either.
No, that's what I mean. It was 12-7 at halftime. That's inexcusable. I mean, that's like Ben McAdoo. Listen, we got a lot of tweets at us today. This is like Ben McAdoo, and I don't think the comparison's unfair. But when you outthink yourself and do stupid things and call the plays that Shermer was calling, that's just dumb. And I don't care that the honeymoon's over. All right. I didn't expect this team to be a juggernaut after 7 years of crap drafting. But with what we did in the offseason, bringing in an adult, giving him Barkley, drafting Will Hernandez, we go through it all, right? The free agents they brought in.
Right.
I expect them to put themselves in positions to win the game, and they're not doing that right now.
And get back to the Barkley thing. You can't have it both ways, Coach Sherman. Like, you can't say, okay, they were playing 2 deep zone, and they were giving us all stuff underneath, and then, okay, if they're doing that, then why aren't you running the ball then? Get them out of that zone. Right. You know what I mean? Like Barkley talked about it. Shep actually mentioned it too. And a little frustration, Shep says, well, they asked him about, a lot of the soft zone. And Shep says, well, we got to run it more to get out of it. So you can't have it both ways, Coach Sherman. You can't say, well, we couldn't get the ball downfield because they were playing this 2 zone, soft zone, the L zone, 3 across zone, and then not hand the ball to Barkley continuously. So you got to get him out of that zone, bud.
And that's another thing, right? And I wanted to ask you because I had to suffer. I had to listen to Tony Romo announce. Now everyone loves Romo. Apparently, I can't stand him. I hate the game he calls. The the ooh and ah all game and the acting like a 5-year-old when he calls a play. I can't stand it. And the fact that all these Cowboys feel the need to run to the booth when they retire and ruin my life. I mean, listen, Aikman, Moose Johnston, Romo, Irvin, Dion, Witten, guys, find another profession and get out of my life. I'm not trying to be funny, but in all seriousness, Tony Romo said yesterday, he contradicted himself. He said, well, the blocking's just not there. And then he said, well, they're playing a 2-deep zone. Now, were they? Because you can't tell on TV as well as someone who's there. Were they playing a 2-deep zone the whole game, or were they playing man as well?
No, they mixed in man. I mean, Marshawn Lattimore, he admitted, he even said it after the game. He goes, we didn't play all zone. We played man. We mixed it up. Right. Now, did they play more zone? Did they play more 2 over the top than man? Oh, yeah, no question about it. But there was situations where they played single. Listen, Jerry, I'm right there. I'm watching the formation every play. And there was plays they were single high. There was plays they were man. And they played a lot of zone. No question about it. But one point Romo, I watched the game again a little while ago. One point Romo did make during the game was that I don't know why the Giants are checking down so much, and he was right. There was times where, some things could have developed that he quickly checked down, and Romo did point that out, and Romo was correct with that.
Now, on the sidelines, I don't know if you saw it there. On the sidelines, Odell started going off. And this was what we knew we were getting when we signed him to this contract, that he's been good lately. But you knew that if things didn't go right, there was the chance that he was going to lose his mind on the sidelines. And he started to yesterday. And perhaps for the first time since I've been watching him, I didn't blame him one bit. I thought, I didn't understand the game plan with him. I don't understand why you have another. Again, we didn't get the ball to Barkley. We have this incredible talent at wide receiver. Again, you and I think he's the best in the league. And they didn't throw it to him deep. And when they tried to throw it to him deep a couple times on the sidelines, I'm not talking fly pattern, just kind of out patterns, Eli overthrew it by 10 yards. And you saw the frustration happening. Did you see anything else that's worth noting? I mean, I know there were some comments made today that were pulled down that Beckham made, and again, he's a ticking time bomb. We knew this was going to happen. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody.
Yeah, listen, I did see Odell get very frustrated with Eli on 2 throws, the ones you're talking about, I believe. I did see him on the sideline. He was a little animated. Right around halftime, he was a little animated with Eli. I think he felt Eli wasn't letting plays develop a little bit, and they weren't, looking for him. And he did make a motion towards Eli, like, what are you doing? And Eli kind of made a motion back to him, like calm down, And then Eli did admit, that he spoke to him at halftime, about he wouldn't get into what he spoke about, but obviously they spoke about that. Where, listen, Jerry, I mean, 4 games now, no touchdowns for Odell. I mean, he's not even getting targeted in the end zone. It's ridiculous, Jerry.
I think he was targeted. I looked today. I think he was targeted once in Dallas, and it was basically a throw beyond the end zone. He had no chance to catch it. And
this is what. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, this is what kills me is that when you target him downfield, even if you don't connect, there's a good chance you're going to get an interference, as we saw in the Jaguar game. Sometimes guys just got to grab him because he's so damn good.
Isn't that amazing, Chris? They go long on Jalen Ramsey, but they don't go long on other guys. That's so stupid. I mean, what a stupid game plan. I'm not trying to oversimplify. I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but how the hell do you go deep on Ramsey and everyone else? It's just quick crossing patterns that you're throwing to him.
Yeah, they kept blaming that, the 2 cover and, like that. But listen, Jerry, they were doing the same coverages against the Atlanta Falcons the week before. They were mixing it up with some man, played some zone, and Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones, they were killing it. You know what I mean? So, Jerry, just because a team does a lot of 2 zone, which they did do a lot of it yesterday, that does not mean that you can't take, shots.
Right.
So, I mean, Matt Ryan did it. Ryan Fitzpatrick, forget about what he did opening day on him, who's now on the bench. I mean, so I just don't get it. I know Ingram not being there did hurt a little bit, because Evan could have hurt him in the seams, but we've seen this before, right? But I mean, Dallas has been doing it to Eli and this offense for like years now, and they just can't seem to be on the same page as far as breaking down this soft zone when the teams do go into it, and it's really getting, I don't know, but it's really getting frustrating on my. It's really frustrating. It really is.
Yeah, and look, it's the elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wanted to blame the line. I not the game I watched yesterday, man. The line I thought was okay. I thought they held up fine. I thought Manning was just. I've made the argument that he has not been the same quarterback since 2016 when he got hit by Chris Baker. And if anyone wants to look it up, you can YouTube it. He gets drilled by Baker.
Yeah.
From that point on, he's been shell-shocked. Now, again, Jerry Reese giving him a garbage line for so long had to have an effect on him. But the last two games, they've held up. I know he's gotten sacked a couple times, but there were times yesterday where he had a ton of time, and he just kept checking down. Do you think that Shermer would never admit it, but do you think that the organization as a whole has to be frustrated with him right now? Or is it just they're not going to admit it?
Well, they're never going to admit that. I can tell you that right now. Shermer's not going to admit they're frustrated. They're just frustrated as a whole, Jerry. The whole process, of this offense, they're frustrated. They never going to say, "Oh, it's just Eli." Eli's the cause of it. The whole process, this whole thing, this whole offense is frustrating. Now you asked me about Shermer, with Eli. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that it has to be when Shermer looks at that tape again. There has to be some frustration with Eli's constant, quick checkdowns on plays that he doesn't have to check down that fast, But Shermer's never, like we said, Jerry, Shermer's not going to say that. It's 11 guys on the side of the ball, 11 guys have to execute. And it is what it is, but there's nobody coming in, so they have to keep working, like Shermer says, trying to get something else going. I don't know. Me, Jerry, I look at it like this. But I look at it like this. Could we start a game? I don't care if it's 6, 7, 8 straight times. Give the ball to Barkley. I want Barkley like a bell cow.
Right.
You see what the Saints do with Kamara? I want Barkley as a bell cow. I understand giving him a blow once in a while, but to me, I think they gave him a blow a little too early yesterday.
And you're right. And that's another thing. Like, I like Wayne Gallman, all right? But I think it's 7-3 at the time. He catches the ball at the 50.
Yes, it was.
And then he gets hit, and it's a fumble. Lattimore picks it up, and Eli chases. And I thought that was the best Eli looked yesterday when he was chasing down Lattimore, I'm sorry to say. But after that, it's constant with this team. One thing goes wrong, and you could feel it in the stadium. Everyone got down, and the team gets down. It's here we go again. They're mentally weak, and they can't recover from it. I could have turned the game off at that point and said, this one's over. You could just feel it. And what bothers me is it's almost like this mediocrity is just accepted now. It's, well, we had a turnover and that was that. And look, again, Eli, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, championships, thank you very much. But I just feel like it's oh, shucks, well, we had another turnover. This one's going downhill. I mean, did you sense the same thing? Did you sense that the crowd all of a sudden kind of got out of it? Because it sounded like a tennis match until probably the fourth quarter in that game.
After that turnover, when they got the stop and held them to the field goal, I kind of got the sense, that the crowd, that we, that the feeling was, all right, we're still in this game. You know what I mean?
Right.
We held them to another field goal. But there was a few things, after the first drive, they really didn't move the ball. I thought Shermer took a little wind out of the crowd with him letting the clock run down before halftime, where we could have got the ball back and maybe try to do some things there. You could feel a little bit of the defeatist attitude where everybody was like, what are you doing, Coach? Why are you letting this clock run down? They would have had it back for like 50 seconds, which I'm not saying they would have scored. I'm just saying that when you do that, it's a little bit of like, what are we doing here? Do you not trust this off? Why are we going in? Why are we surrendering this half and going in the locker room? You understand? I felt a little bit of that.
And that's what's disappointing because with not taking the timeouts before the half, like how does every fan know that you should be doing this? And that's I'm not saying fans can draw plays up better than coaches, but that's just common knowledge. That is that's so basic, and we're getting that wrong too.
Yeah, and Sherman kind of admitted that one too.
Oh my
He said
God!
It in the presser. He said it in the presser after the game. And in hindsight, I probably should have called timeout there. Listen, Sherman has made some mistakes, and clock management. Jerry, I've been telling you this for years, right? But these coaches just cannot figure out how to call, when to call timeout, when not to call timeout. It's amazing, and that was a mistake in my opinion. That was a mistake. I'm not saying that was the reason why they joined. I'm just saying that was
no, but it all contributes. You're right. Everything contributes.
But it contributes. Yeah.
Every mistake they make. This team is not good enough to overcome everything. Now, the referees did not help. I didn't even see the Tomlinson play basically till today, which I thought was the worst of the bunch. But the phantom horse collar on Jenkins. Then Barkley gets taken down by a face mask. They don't call it. Dante Dion gets pushed in the back. This referee crew sucked.
It was so bad. I don't know if you read Twitter, but I just broke down some of the stuff that happened in the game on Twitter.
No, I read the whole thing. I've been reading tweets all day.
Okay.
And by the way, real quick, for all you Twitter followers, when Chris mentions that MetLife Stadium isn't like Giant Stadium, that's not the reason they lost, wise asses. It's just that MetLife Stadium's kind of dreary. It was painted gray because basically both teams, the Jets and Giants, hang green and blue curtains on the sidelines to make it feel like a home field. So it doesn't mean that's why they lost. It's an observation that Chris, the beat writer, the one that's there all the time, is making and putting out there. So keep your wise ass responses to yourself. Thanks. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, that's all right, but. I found that amusing that people would twist my words saying that's why we lost.
They're acting like, it's the stadium. Yeah, thanks, guys. Great analysis.
All I was saying that, some of these other teams like Kansas City, you just feel like the home field advantage, and I just don't feel that in this new stadium. That's all I was saying. And a lot of people agree with me. A lot of people do.
Most did, and then other ones try to get more Twitter followers by calling us idiots and retweeting it and making funny jokes. And they're all trying to be Barstool Sports now. I get it, guys. You're snarky. You're funny.
Yeah.
You have 147 followers. Congratulations on your life. Great job, guys. That's right. Take down Chris to make yourself feel better.
Yeah. It's I found that amusing, but what are you going to do? It's Twitter. You know what I mean? It's idiotic, but what were we talking about?
I don't know. I'm defensive of your tweets, buddy. You're doing a great job. And when people do that, man, pisses me off.
I was. I'm sorry, Jerry. We were talking about the horrific refereeing once again in the NFL. You know what I love? Quickly, Jerry. You know what I love? Dean Blandino on the NFL Sirius radio. You got to hear him now. Oh yeah, that was a bad call.
He was a comedian, right?
Yeah, the former bartender / comedian. Now everything's a bad call because he's not in charge anymore. Now everything's a bad call. Everything they should have picked this. Listen, I put it on Twitter. I mean, it wasn't just the horrific phantom horse collar tackle by Jackrabbit. How about they picked up the one flag on a touchdown scoring drive by the Saints where they said it wasn't offensive pass interference, that the receiver was not downfield. I looked at the play over and over. He was 2 yards downfield when he throwing a block.
Oh, it was Russell Shepard.
It was no. When the Saints were on offense,
I'm sorry.
They had an offensive pass interference call.
Right.
They said a receiver blocked downfield. They picked it up and said, "Oh no, he blocked on the line of scrimmage." I looked at the play. You look at the play. I think it was on Josh Hill. If you look at the play, he was blocking 2 yards down the field. 2.
Because Russell Shepard was called for it too.
Russell Shepard was called for offensive pass interference,
right?
And he was within a yard,
exactly.
Which you're allowed.
Yep. Yeah.
You're allowed.
Right.
He was. I looked at it over and over. He was within a yard. That was another bad call. The trip on Max Unger in the end zone on Dalvin Tomlinson, where he was breaking in Tomlinson, he gets tripped in the end zone. A blatant trip. No call. Breeze rolls to his right. He hits Josh Hill, the tight end. They start that drive. They get out of the hole.
And if you watch that play over and over again, Tomlinson, I don't think there's any doubt that he sacks Breeze. I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, he's almost on top of him.
Jerry, even if Breeze gets rid of the ball, it's an infraction in the end zone.
Right. That's right. Yeah,
it's
it'll be a safety. Yeah.
Now you have a 26-20 game, and they have to punt to us, right?
Yep.
You think that's a big call, Bud? What do you think?
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible.
What do you think?
I mean, like I said, it's one thing to lose, which we did, but then when you have so many calls go against you, and a team that's just not talented enough to overcome it. I mean, in the what went wrong segment of the newspaper, I put Shermer, unfortunately, Manning, and the officiating. And I never put officiating in because it's such a cop-out normally. But it was so bad.
Yeah, I don't like to go there.
Right, but it was so bad yesterday, it has to be mentioned.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, and just a quick thing, I saw some people, they were getting on Thomas McGahee a little bit, special teams coach. Oh, look what happened. Let me tell you something. The Giants were not fooled on that fake punt at all. B.W. Webb had his man, okay? It wasn't like the guy it wasn't like the guy outside was wide open where the Giants were like, oh, what happened? B.W. Webb was right on him. He just got beat. He got beat on a little hitch route. That's all. And the backup and the third-string quarterback, who we talked about, right, Jerry, on the podcast, was going to be a big part of this game plan, Taysom Hill, he hit him with a pass. I mean, so it wasn't like the Giants' special teams got fooled. They didn't get fooled. They just got beat. It happens. It happens.
And by the way, we just got a response on Twitter. Stadiums don't play games. It's the personnel that we have that are messing up. Okay, Hilma Jara.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for that, sir.
And
thank you for that,
check
sir.
yourself.
I didn't know that.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself is what he has in his Twitter account. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. That's the analysis that we're all looking for. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Thank you, because I thought the stadium was the reason why the Giants lost at all these home games.
So
thank you. Thank
you. We went through the bad. If there was any good, I think it was the defense. I mean, most of the game, I just think they were gassed at the end. I thought they did a great job on Thomas. I thought they did an admirable job on Kamara until the third quarter. I just think they started to wear down. I mean, Saints are talented. If you look at Drew Brees' numbers, you would think the Giants won this game. He had no touchdowns. I think he threw for low twos. But one thing Peyton did, and this is where coaching comes in. Everyone talks about, oh no, it's the players that play. You know what? Sean Payton's smart. He put in a quarterback, and you talked about it. You called it. That's going to run that zone read option, and it kills us always. It always kills us. And even when that quarterback doesn't take off, the threat that he may makes you hesitate a second.
Yeah, listen, he had like a nice 20-yard run, whatever that was, with Connor Bowman. Once again, was fooled on his own read. They got the touchdown run with Kamara on his own read. What happened there? Actually, Kareem Martin he actually contained pretty good in that, but the inside guy, I think it was Thomas, who got beat with a big good block, and Kamara sprung into the end zone there. Yeah, listen, Sean Payton's a pretty sharp offensive mind. Yeah. Jerry, he's got wrinkles all over the place.
I mean, we think about it. He brought the 2000 Giants to 12-4, right? I mean, that was his offense. That offense was. Then they had some talent, but that was the first sign that this guy can be a really good coach one day.
You know what, Jerry? Oh yeah, no question about it. You know what, Jerry? If somebody told you before the game that Breeze would go 18 for 32, like 220 yards, and Mike Thomas would have 4 catches for 30 yards, you got to say to yourself, well, what would you say? You'd be like, oh wow, we're going to win this game.
Yeah, we're going to kill him. That's what I would have thought.
Yeah. So as Kamara did his thing in the second half. Landon Collins kind of admitted, he felt the defense was a little worn down in our last drive.
And for someone we've been getting on a little bit. I mean, I thought he had best game of the season. He looked like 2016. Yeah. He had 14 tackles, 9 solo, 5 assists, all over the field. Yeah. If he continues to play like that, then he's going to get a big contract at the end of the year. But
I thought Ogletree too was real active.
Ogletree's hitting his stride as well.
No,
it's look, Dante Dion's a nice story, but the fact that he's the third corner right now shows you where this team is. And it's really a shame that Apple can't be out there. And I think we'll get Vernon back this week, but he's going to help. I think, look, we said it, Vernon's not Lawrence Taylor, But him coming back, and fans are really getting on him, and they're jumping on him about the high ankle sprain. But that's a 4 to 6 week injury. You called it. I think if he comes back this week, I think they can do some damage with him. The defense is further along than I thought they'd be.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? I was terrified the last 2 weeks when B.W. Webb had to play on the outside, and you know what? He's done a nice job, B.W. Webb.
He had a nice play. He had a nice play at the goal line yesterday, deflecting the ball away.
So, yeah, he's done a nice job, man. And you know what? He's going to move over to the slot, when Apple gets back, and they'll be all right. Landon, like you said, like you just pointed out, Landon was best game of the year by far. That looked like the 2016 Landon. Listen, Wiley missed a few tackles out there. Jenkins is getting beat. He's getting beat a few times. He got beat a few times yesterday on his little crossing routes. But overall, listen, the defense, they got worn down a little bit. And
I don't put this one on the defense at all. The score is misleading. The stats were misleading, especially the run, because he had the huge run at the end. I thought for the most part they played really well, and it's 12-7.5. They held them to 4 field goals. I think the Saints were 33% scoring touchdowns in the red zone yesterday, which is insane against Drew Brees. I mean, that's incredible. 2 for 6.
Yeah. They made him kick field goals, Jerry, and when you make the Saints kick field goals, you have to win the game, bud. You have to win the game, and they didn't. So, once the offense – listen, what did we talk about? We knew the offense had to put a 30 spot on to beat the Saints, right? Yep. And they 18 points is not going to beat the Saints. Nope. It's just not going to do it, bud. So enough of that, right?
So Joel Davis becomes the latest special teams blunder. I mean, catches the ball in the end zone. The entire team thought he was kneeling, and then he takes it out and gets tackled on the 11. I think this was after the Saints scored. And it's just like, okay, who's coming in this week to try and return kicks? And all right, Hunter Sharp and Khalif Raymond. They're not Devin Hester and Dave Meggett. But, I mean, can we find someone who can do this, whether it's punt or kick returns? How do we not find some? It's almost like, remember, I don't know, it seemed like for a while we couldn't find a punter until we got Weatherford in. Between Fiegels and Weatherford, we struggled a bit. And it just seems like there's always a position, or the long snapper when we had Trey Junkin in there for a while. And we seem to struggle at one position. Right now, it's the return game. I mean, we have guys that I don't know what the hell they're doing. If they're not kneeling for the ball, they're returning it, and they're bringing it out when no one's expecting them to. And one thing that was hilarious watching it yesterday, the one punt return, I thought, man, that guy fielded it cleanly, and it was Odell Beckham Jr. I didn't realize it until after he flipped the ball back. I go, oh, no wonder why he caught it so well.
Yeah, you know what? When you're not scoring points, you're going to have to start doing some things on special teams. That means Saquon returning kickoffs, Odell returning punts. I don't know what Sherman's waiting for, bud. I really don't, because we're not scoring points. So we're going to have to steal some points or a game or two on special teams. You know what I mean? I mean, let Barkley return a kickoff.
That would scare me a little. I'm okay with Odell returning punts just because of the nature
of understandable.
Just because of the fact that he can call a fair catch, and the coverage lanes are different. For kickoff, it just seems more of a free for all, and I'd be afraid of Barkley back there. But I understand and I agree with you about Odell doing it.
That's understandable. A lot of people have that fear about about Barkley with the kickoffs, but he did it in Penn State.
Yeah,
I know this is the NFL. I understand it. This is the NFL, but he is a home run threat. I know I've said this numerous times, but guys like that have to get the ball in their hands. And when you're not, listen, Jerry, if their offense was averaging 360 yards a game and we were putting up 24, 26 points, 27 points a game, okay, you know what? We don't need it. But when we're scoring 18 against a defense that can't stop anybody, and we can't move the ball, you're gonna have to do something else.
Yeah.
And when you have a kid like Barkley back there, he could get you 6 points in about 11 seconds. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to do it. That's all I'm saying. Hey, you're not giving him the ball 24 times a game, Jerry. So you might as well let him return a kickoff here and there, try to break something. That's all I'm saying. You know. And he did do it once with Odell on the punt return. It was just a good punt by Morstead. The ball was high. Odell had a fair catch it, but at least Sean was doing that once, so I would do it more. I would be like Antonio Brown. Let him return punts 3 times a game. We're not scoring points, Jerry. We're not scoring points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Frustrating, bud. Frustrating. I just don't get it. Frustrating.
Kerry Wynn. Last week he looked like Justin Tuck. This week he disappeared. Did he get injured or something, or or did he just disappear?
No, Jerry. Listen. He had 2 pressures. He flushed Breeze out twice.
Yeah.
I know he wasn't on the stat sheet. I understand that. He did have 2 pressures. And listen, Jerry, I seen that today on Twitter too. Oh, what happened? Listen.
No, and I'm not accusing Wynn. It's just that he had such a good game last week. Yesterday he kind of disappeared, and I didn't even see him playing as much as the other guys, to be honest with you.
He didn't have as many snaps he had in the Houston game, but he did have a few pressures. And listen, it happens, Jerry. You're not gonna, Leonard Williams wasn't on the stat sheet for the Jets 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? I mean, and here he is, another 6 overall pick. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that in the NFL, it does happen. He wasn't, but he did contribute a little bit a couple of times with Breeze. But yeah, he obviously didn't have as good as a game as he did in Houston. But he's had a good year when, so we'll see next week. I'm sure he'll rebound, getting that stat sheet, do some things next week.
What else jumped out at you yesterday, bud? I mean, I was spent with all the things we talked about, and it was a frustrating game. And look, again, the Giants aren't going to be 12-4, but I expected better than this, and I expected Shermer and Eli, and just overall for these guys to be put in positions to win. And it just seems like we're not going down swinging with our best guys, and I can't for the life of me understand why we're not getting the ball more to Barkley and Odell. Anything else jump out at you in that game?
Jump out at me? I thought Chad Wheeler held his own, Jerry.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I thought the kid held his own.
Which is why I was getting aggravated when they were saying this line stinks. The line did not stink yesterday. I don't know what game people were watching. At some point, you have to blame Manning.
You have to. Yeah, you're gonna have to. You got to blame some guys.
And it's hard to do that.
Open.
It's hard. I like the guy. I love it, Manning. It's hard to do it, but
I mean, no doubt about it.
Come on, you got to hit these guys. You have weapons now. There's no excuse for this.
Yeah. Listen, I tell you, it's tough. Who's only playing mediocre is Nate Solder at left tackle.
Yeah. He allowed a 7-yard loss yesterday.
Yeah, Marcus Davenport just blew by him on that play.
Yep.
I mean, that was embarrassing. He also gave up a sack too. He's Solder's just been okay left tackle. I mean, has he been better than Flowers? Of course, from last year when he. Yeah, I'm not saying that, but he's just been okay over there. I expected a little more out of Solder, Jerry. I got to be honest with you. I thought Wheeler played. I thought Patrick Omame wasn't bad yesterday again.
And Greco had the one. Greco had the one hold, I think, right, yesterday?
He had a hold, and I'm sorry, he had a hold, and he gave up a bad sack to the Davis.
And that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing. Eli Manning, you can hear it on TV. He's yelling 56, 56, 56. Who gets the sack? Demario Davis. What number does he wear? Number 56. So, yeah, there were some breakdowns, and that's frustrating, especially when your quarterback is pointing it out to you.
Yeah, listen, Eli's been around a long time. He knew DeMario was coming on that. He does his film work, Eli. You know what I mean? He saw the formation. He saw what DeMario was, and he knew he was coming, And where did he come? A-gap, right? I mean, what did the Giants inside? What do we talk about? When they do blitz, they'll send Klein, they'll send DeMario on those A-gaps. And Greco just didn't pick it up. He got beat, So it's frustrating, bud. It really is, man.
Yeah, man. It's a
1-3.
Frustrating day yesterday. Again, excuse me. The Eagles lose it, around 4:30. Yeah. Tennessee comes back, some epic comeback, and that game was 17-3 in the fourth quarter. I was ready to turn it off. Tennessee wins. Eagles go to 2-2. Cowboys barely get past a bad Detroit team, so I'm thinking, all right, we could be relevant. And then we lay an egg at home in front of our home crowd, and the same things happen over and over and over again. Bad coaching, bad quarterback play, turnover, and then everything kind of just falls apart.
Yeah, you know what was frustrating to me? Listen, I picked the Saints to beat the Giants this week. You did too. But what was frustrating is that I figured Breeze, Mike Thomas's, even Ted Ginn's on some verticals. I thought that was going to be the difference, and it really wasn't. Right? It was.
Right.
It was like we had a bad turnover. Kamara. Listen, Kamara's a really good player, but I thought Breeze would be the main reason.
Yep.
Why we would go down to the Saints. And he did some things. Don't get me wrong. Breeze is Breeze, but he looked like he had one of his 400-yard games, and Thomas had 10 catches and all that.
Was there a slight wind at the stadium yesterday, Chris?
There was a 7-mile-per-hour wind.
Well, that's it. Then Breeze is off. If it's not perfect, if there's any breeze, no pun intended, at all, Drew Brees is not the same quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody. I will, even if I'm wrong, I will go to my grave arguing that.
I know. I know you.
And sooner or later, the Giants are going to put us there. So at that point, buddy, I think we'll stop. Listen, normally I tell you guys how to get the Giant Insider. Let's go, guys. It's called Google, and then look up the Giant Insider. It'll tell you how to subscribe to us. But Chris, thanks, man. Thanks for letting me rant this time because, again, I don't know how much longer Giant fans can take this. Next week is in Carolina. We'll get to that one on. We'll do that Friday night.
Oof.
We'll talk about that game. And listen, I'm not get too far ahead, but 1-4 seems very likely. And
yeah, we'll talk about it Friday. Much different defensive line coming in this week. Oh man.
But, all right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Remember, Sundays are Giant days, even though they suck anymore. Thanks a lot, guys.
Take care, everybody.